So here we have the two different clubs, but we're going to see something very similar with both of them. Now, what I said before, I really like the setup. I love how your arms are hanging. I love how your arms and the club kind of make this lowercase y. As we get into the longer club, it is a little bit more neutral. As we get into, say, a driver, it'll be even more neutral, but this looks really good. Ball position looks good. That right shoulder being lower than the left shoulder, all looks good. Now, as we go through the swing, great turn. You've done a really good job turning around your spine. If I come back and just give you a line for reference, we draw that from the zipper or button on your pants up through the buttons on your shirt, up through your chin. And as you turn right around that angle. That's awesome. Really love that. I like where the club is getting to at the top of the swing. You're in a very neutral position. Explains why we're coming through with a square club face. So everything up to here is good. Now it's the downswing, right? So let's go to this side. Let's do the same thing. Let me give you this line. Different club, but as we swing, there it is. Boom, still turning around that spine. A tiny bit shut on this one, not the end of the world. All right, now, here's the trouble. As we come down, two things are happening. One, we're a little bit out of sequence. If we look very closely, you're going to see your upper body turn before the lower body turns. So if we watch very closely, notice how those shoulders are already moving, but your hips haven't done a whole lot. By the time we get down to right about here, this is where I'd love to see your hips be while the club is still at the top of the swing. So that's the clearing motion that we're going to work on a little bit today. Because we're firing out of sequence, because that upper body is coming down first, we get stuck. When we get stuck, I want you to watch this release of the golf club. You're in a good spot, but man, we're stuck. By stuck, notice how at this point where we're released, your arms are basically touching your belly button. They're in very close. By contrast, if we take a look at your backswing, see how much room is between your hands and your body. There's a lot of width. You get that club out and away from you. Then as we come in, it's right here. It's right up against you.
I feel it.
So when that happens, it's going to change the arc of the swing. Rather than the arc being something like, just to give you a visual like this, now all of a sudden it's like, it's coming in. That arc changing so dramatically at the bottom, it's going to affect your dynamic loft. Sometimes you're going to time it one way, sometimes you're going to time it the other way, and sometimes, because that arc has gotten steeper, we don't have the timing to release it like your 5-iron. Now it's coming in steep. There's no room to release it because you're stuck. And when we de-loft a club, we hit it higher on the face. And that's why we're hitting it high. It's just you ran out of room. There's nowhere to go from here other than we have to try to time this guy up. What we're going to work on today is feeling that extension. So when we get through the shot, you have just as much space between your hands and your body that you did on the backswing. And as that starts to happen, more consistent contact, and we'll be able to control that path a little bit more. That makes sense so far?